How to solve sum and difference identities if we have sine a plus b and cosine a plus b. Also, if we have a tan a plus b. In this video, I'll show you how to solve those identities. Hello everyone, welcome to teachcode.com. I hope you all doing well. Sine and cosine are two brothers, but you see, some brothers are so kind, and some of them is jealous. In this lesson, let's see who will be a kind brother and who will be a jealous brother. Let's start. Here we have sine a plus b. And here we have cosine a plus b. Now let's change the letters, those two letters to a word. Let's say this is an apple and this is a banana, okay? And here is we have sine and his brother is cosine. We say those two are brothers. One of them is kind and the other one is jealous. Sine, it has apple and banana, but he will say an apple for me and banana for my brother. So it says sine a, it means I will eat the apple, and the banana for my brother, cosine b. Or if his brother does not agree with him, he will eat the banana and he will give the apple to his brother. So, or we can say sine b cosine a. Sorry, cosine a. Okay, so pay attention here. Do you see that sine is a kind people, isn't it? He has apple and banana. He will say, an apple is for me and banana for my brother. But if my brother does not agree, banana is for me and apple for my brother, okay? He's so kind, even he will not change the sign. Plus, plus. He's so kind. Let's come to cosine a plus b. Let's see. Is he a jealous or a kind brother? Cosine a, he is always hungry, okay? He will say, oh, apple and banana is for me. Cosine a and cosine b. You're gonna eat both of them. Wow. He's so jealous. Cosine is so jealous. Even he will change the sign. This is plus. He will say, no. If my brother took the apple and banana, I will take from him. So minus sine A cosine, sine B. You see that? Cosine says, apple and bananas for myself. Even if my brother took the apple and banana, I gonna take from him, okay? I gonna take it back from him, so he gonna change the sign also. Positive becomes negative, or addition becomes subtraction. Let's come to tan. Tan is like a sister, and he's like sine, and sometimes he's like cosine. Let's see. He will say tan a plus b. He will say in this time he's like sine. Tan a, tan apple, plus tan b. Okay, it means he will give this to both of them. We don't have she doesn't has another sister, so she will say the apple I will eat, then I will eat the banana. She's a little bit kind here, but in the next time she will say 1 minus tan A tan B, but here tan A tan B. Here she will change the sign, 1 minus tan A tan B. Maybe you'll not get this by kind and jealous, but this one is so easy. By he's kind, sine is kind, but cosine is so jealous. And her sister, their sister is kind of kind, and sometimes she's jealous. Okay, so she's a mix between sine and cosine. Now let's come to a difference. Here we have plus, it means this is sum. Now let's talk about the difference of identities, sine, cosine, tan. If you understand these, guys, the difference is the same. For example, if we change the sum to difference or minus, let's say, sine is so kind, so he will not change the sign. It is minus, minus. Okay, but cosine is jealous, so he gonna change the sign also. Look, he's even changed the sign. Tan, when it is minus, at the upper one, she's like her kind brother, he will not change the sign. But in the down one, in the lower one, she gonna change the sign. So this is all the sum and difference identities in sine, cosine, tan. But if you get this idea from me, you'll never make mistake and you'll never forget this lesson. Be careful, in math there's no memorize. You can use ideas to never forget this. Okay, now after this, let's solve some examples about sum and difference of cosine, sine, and tan. In these three examples, I'll show you how to solve a difference identity and sum identity in sine or cosine or tan. So we have three examples, we have to evaluate them, but before starting this, you have to know how to find the common angles. What are the common angles? The common angles are starting from 0, 30, 60, 90, and then the others also. We have some angles in the other coordinates, which they are same as this one, but their sign is changed. How? For example, we have 120, 150, 135, we have 200, before this one we have 210, we have 200 and like 40 and 230, 25. So many angles. Those are called common angles. If you don't know how to find the sine, cosine of those angles, of course without calculator, you can click on the link that I put in the description, and I will explain how to find this by a circle, a triangle, which is we have a right triangle and the other angles are 30 and 60, and we have another triangle, right triangle, of course, we have double 45 angles. Okay, by using those three, we can find all these angles: sine, cosine, and tan. So please, if you don't know how to find, first pause the video and then go to the description and click on the link. Then you will understand, and then come back to the video and we will solve those three examples. Sine 150. We have to know sine 150 came from which common angles that we have there. For example, we have 0, 90, 30, 60, 45. We have many other common angles, like 120, which is same as 30, and the other one, but their sign will change. Okay, that I wrote before. So adding of which of these, of course, two of these becomes 150. We can check 90 plus 60 is equal to 150. So we can say this is equal to sine 90 plus 60. Then we know sine is a kind brother for his brother is cosine. So he will say sine 90, okay, and cosine, let's see, let me write in black, and then cosine 60, or plus, of course we have plus, he's kind, he will put anything in the bracket, or he will say sine 60 multiply cosine 90. There's a multiplication here, be careful, and we can put parentheses here for each angle. Okay, those are all angles, of course. Now, how can I find this rule? We know that I wrote all the rules here. If you don't know, you have to just have a look at this one and check it. Sine is a kind for his brother, cosine. So if he has an apple and banana, he will say apple is for me, it means sine, and banana is for my brother, cosine. Or if the cosine is not agree, banana is for me and apple for my brother. Okay, so then when we wrote this, let me clean these. Okay, what is sine 90? We have 0 here and we have 90 here. Guys, I told you, if you don't understand how to find an angle, click the description, the link in the description, please. You can understand and then come back to this video. Sine 90 is the 1. So we can put in the place of this 1. Multiply, of course we have a multiplication here. Cosine 60, where's 60? We don't have 60 here, we have here. Cosine 60, it means adjacent over hypotenuse, it means 1 over 2. If you don't understand those, please click the description, the link in the description. Sine 60, we have 60 here, sine is square root of 3 over 2, and multiply. Cosine 90 is 0. Because we have 0 here, 0 multiply this, it becomes 0. So, not need to solve this. 1 multiply 1 over 2 is again 1 over 2. 1 over 2 plus 0 is 1 over 2. So we evaluated that. Sine 150 is equal to 1 over 2. This is one way. When we finish all of these, I'll teach you how to do this in a very short way, mentally. Okay, I will teach you how to do this mentally. You can do it in 2 or 3 seconds. So let's complete this and I'll teach you. Cosine 15. Do you know we had some common angles? What are the common angles? 0, 30, 45. Those are all degrees. 60, 90. Adding or subtracting of which of these is equal to 15, we can do this. Or we can do this one. This or this is same. 60 minus 45 is 15 and 45 minus 30 is 16. Let's use this one. It's up to you. This is equal to cosine. We can say instead of 15 I can write, 45 minus 15. Minus 13. Then this is equal to what? Cosine, we know that he is a jealous. A plus B. He will say the apple and banana, I will eat it and I will change the sign and I will never give to my to my brother. So he will say both is for me. Cosine 45 multiply cosine 30. Okay, and then he will change the sign to plus. And then if sine is a kind, if sine has 40 or 45 or 30, he's gonna take from him and sine 30. Then, what is cosine 45 now? Let's find the angles. Cosine 45 is 1 over 2, so easy. 1 over 2. Cosine 30, 30 is square root of 3 over 2. And then we have multiply between them, of course, plus sine 45 is 1 over 2. And sine 30 is again 1 over 2. Sorry, we have square root of 2 here, not 1 over 2, sorry. And what should we do now? We have square root of 2, of course, here. And where is here? We have 1 square root of 2. Now, here we have cosine 1 square root of 2 and cosine 30 is square root of 3 over 2. We have to multiply those two. It becomes 2 square root of 2 in the bottom, and in the upper one we have square root of 3. For the other one is same, square root of 2, well, let's see, 2 square root of 2, and we have 1 in the up. So we have same denominator, so we can say here square root of 3 plus 1, square root of 3 plus 1 over 2 square root of 2. Guys, if you see this answer, okay, it is correct and you can check all the steps are true, and you are in an exam and you can find this in the multiple choices. Why? Because there is a square root under the fraction in the denominator. So we have to remove this square root. In math, it's better to not write square root in the denominator. How can we change this? By square root of 2 for the up and down, okay? And then it becomes square root of 2 multiply square root of 2, it becomes square root of 4, and you can take 4 out, it becomes 2. Then 2 multiply 2 is 4. Square root of 2 multiply this, it becomes square root of 6. Square root of 2 multiply 1, it becomes square root of 2. So this is the last answer, square root of 6 plus square root of 2 over 4. Now let's solve example number 3, tan 105. First, 105 came from the summation or the subtraction of two numbers here. We can say 60 plus 45, it becomes 105. So tan 105 is, we can say 60 degrees, of course, plus 45 degrees. After that, if we have sum of 10 is equal to, at the top 10, we know the rule for 10a plus b is equal to 10a plus 10b. She is same as her brother sine. He is a kind, but we have plus, but for the lower one, she is like her brother cosine. Here she is jealous, so plus changed to minus. So now we have to say 10a plus 10b we don't have a and b, we have, instead of a and b's, we have 60 degrees and 45 degrees. In the lower one, we have to change the sign, 1 minus 10a plus 10b, or multiply, sorry, 10b. 10b, 10, 60% and 45%. After this step, we should write the 10 of each angle. Here we have 1 minus, here we have plus. Tan 60, we can find it here. This is 60. Tan is equal to opposite over adjacent. Square root of 3 over 1, it means square root of 3. Look, we can find the sine cosine tan in 2 seconds by 2 triangles on the circle. We don't use calculator here. And then tan 45, 45 is 1 over 1, we can say 1. Not need to memorize 30, 60 or 90 or any angle, any common angles, you can use those things. 1 minus tan 60, we said square root of 3, and tan 45 we said 1, so square root of 3 multiplied 1 is 1. So at the end, we conclude that we have square root of 3 plus 1 and 1 minus square root of 3. Here, guys. Wait, okay. Square root of 3 plus 1 and 1 minus square root of 3. Guys, here at the end, we have this, but let me give you 2 homeworks. The first one, can we remove square root of 3 with square root of 3? If yes, give me the answer. If no, what should we do? Okay? Just, or you can say just no and give me the reason why it's no. Okay? Don't answer yes, no, yes, no. Then the second homework is, how can we remove this square root of 3 in the bottom? How can we remove this? Because this is, we have to rationalize it. Square root can never or shouldn't write in the bottom of any fraction. Can you tell me how can you remove this square root in the bottom? Then, when you find those 2 questions, the first one, how can we remove those 2? Second one, how can we remove the square root of 3 in the bottom? Answer me by a comment in my YouTube channel, right under the my descriptions. Okay, there's comment, you can write the answer and I will check it. Please don't forget to do your homework and write your solution on the comment. Okay, after this we solved 3 hard examples. Now let me teach you how can we do this, how can we solve those 3 in maybe if you learn it and you practice on it, maybe you can answer in 5 seconds for all 3 questions. Let me teach you guys. Guys, sine 150, we have to find it is reference angle. What's the reference angle? So 150 contains in the first, second, third, or fourth quartile. It contains between 90 and 180. This is 180, and this is 0, and this is 90, and this is 270, or we can do it by pi or radical. If you don't understand, you can look at the previous sections, videos that I explained it there. 150, we can say it is nearly contains here. It's nearest to 180. So this has a reference angle in the first quarter here. But what is this angle, this reference angle? We can say 180 minus 150, it becomes 30. So the answer is 30. So this angle came from 30. That's it. So we can say sine 150 is equal to sine 30. And the answer is sine 30 is equal to 1 over 2. Okay, so the answer is 1 over 2. Do you remember we solved it in many steps and we get 1 over 2? But here in 2 seconds or 3 seconds we can find the reference angle and we can think about it. But don't forget, we have to find it is sine. Is it negative or positive? Here we have sine at the top. Sine. This is cosine here, positive. Cosine here is negative. We have sine positive, and we have sine in the bottom, negative. Okay, do you remember x minus x, y and minus y? We can change to cosine and sine. Cosine minus cosine, sine minus sine. Those two angles, this and this, both is for in the place of sine, or belongs to positive sign, so we can say positive. Okay, they are not, look, they are both in positive sign, not negative sign. Let me change this one to 225. It's better. Okay, to become another quartile is better. Cosine 225, it contains here between 180 and 270, and it is nearly, it's far from this a little bit. It's closer to this one, sorry, not this one. So or we can say exactly between them, maybe, if it is 45. Cosine 225, we can say it is reference in the first quarter. How can I find that? 225 minus 100. Guys, now in this example I changed the angle because I want to give you some idea that's too easy. 120, how can I find that it is reference angle if we have? So it contains here nearly 120, but how can I find this? We can write 180 minus 120 is equal to 60 degrees. So we can write, instead of tan 120, tan 60. Why? Because its reference is 60 degrees. It means they are all same, but their sign will be changed. In here, tan is positive. Why tan is positive? Sign divided by positive is positive. Positive divided by negative is negative. If you don't understand this, why tan and sign, or tan is positive and negative, you can find the link in the description and open it and understand why it is positive or negative, and then you can come back to this video. Okay, tan 120 is equal to tan 60, but with a negative sign. Why? Because in 120, in this angle, tan is negative, because tan is equal to sine over cosine. Positive divided by negative is negative. So tan 60 is equal to square root of 3 is over 1 is equal to square root of 3 over 1. It means square root of 3, but we have to write down this minus again. Okay, can you just change your calculator to degrees and then calculate this? Tan 120, it becomes minus square root of 3. It means minus 1.57, something like this. So this is the answer, which is you don't need a calculator, but to make sure you can calculate it by a calculator, or if you have a phone, you can do it by your phone. Okay, guys, this is all about the sum and difference in some identities. Okay, but most of the angles you can find it is reference, and you can do it mentally. Please don't memorize anything in math. You have to find an idea to get the rules and how to solve it. I hope you understand very well. Thanks for watching my video. Don't forget to do your homeworks and write it in a comment in my YouTube channel. Thanks for watching my video. Please don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification that you're notified.